be successful? Probably not. I've been really into embroidery lately. Hello everyone, welcome back to Book and Prejudice. My name is Mar, and for today's video I'm bringing you my November wrap-up / December TBR list. Now this month I would not say has been the best reading month for me. I read 3 books, which for some might be a lot, for some may be very little. For me it's like a good solid amount. I like reading 3 books in 1 month. I think that that's very good for me personally. However, I have to admit that I did not really enjoy reading this month. The reason why is that the books I was reading were not the most interesting for me personally, and I just didn't like the storylines. I just didn't like the books that I was reading. So although I did manage to read 3 books, I still did not love the books I was reading, thus it being a bad reading month. However, I'm going to be telling you the books that I read, and please leave in the comments down below whether you've read them and whether you like them. Anyways, the first book that I read was Isabel Allende's The House of the Spirits. Now, before we get into the actual book, I wanna talk about this cover, because you know when they say don't judge a book by its cover? That's a lie. I've seen this book in my mother's bookshelves my whole life, literally, because she got this Christmas 1998 when I was born. So I really liked the book itself. It comes in a box, and this cover is quite pretty. It matches what I'm wearing. That's fun. It's quite beautiful itself, but the reason why I like it is because it comes in a box. Like, I've never seen a book in a box before, and I've racked my brain about this. Like, I've thought about this long and hard, and I just have never seen a book in a box. And I brought it back home from Spain, and I could have just brought the book itself, but I brought the box because it's just gorgeous. Like, and how it looks like on the bookshelf. I'm just in love with this copy of the book, and I'm in love with this story as well, because this might be my favorite read of 2020. December is still happening, so I don't want to close that door just yet, but it's gonna be hard to top this one up. I gave this book 5 stars on Goodreads, and I really liked it for many reasons. The first one was I love the story. The storyline takes place over many decades, and it follows the Trueba family and how they make their money, how they lose their money, as well as how their country's political system changes, which obviously I loved. Good political drama is just what I'm here for. But also, by giving the book this longevity towards the end, you could really see how the characters had changed, how they had matured, how they had improved and disproved. And I really liked that because it felt very organic. It did not feel like it was just there for the plot, but rather the true meaning of growing up and growing old. 2 very different things, if you want my opinion. And I really enjoyed how the book itself was written from many different perspectives, from many different characters. The story is really good as well. I've read a lot of comparisons to 100 Years of Solitude, which makes a lot of sense because it has that long decades story as well as that magical realism. However, I have to admit I did like this one a bit more. I have to reread 100 Years of Solitude because I haven't read it in a long time, but I think I like this one more. The House of the Spirits, the best book of the year, which is really funny because I did just say that I did not have a good reading month. But overall, I didn't. This one, excellent book. I really liked it. Honestly, I cannot recommend this book enough. If you take one thing from this video, is read this book, and let me know what you think of it, because it was beautiful. It just so heartwarming, so nice to read, so everything about it was perfect, if you want my opinion. The next book that I read, I don't have with me, because I read it on an audiobook, but I'll pop it up somewhere around here, and that is The Hidden Life of Trees. This was a very interesting book because this was more like a textbook kind of book, and I've been reading this in September when I started listening to audiobooks more often. That's the first audiobook that I listened to. Did I love it? Yes. Would I recommend you listen to it? Probably not, and I'll say why. If you like nature, and if you like learning about nature, and if you like learning about trees, that's very much what you have to do. Read this book, like, you will like it. However, if you don't really care for nature, or you don't really care for the inner workings of nature rather, then don't read it, because it's just understanding of trees and maybe you don't really care for that, and that's fine. I really enjoyed it just because it was very entertaining and I learned a lot of things. Like, for example, did you know that when a giraffe eats a tree leaf, the tree sends a signal to the other trees via the root system, letting them know that they're in danger, and therefore the leaves have this kind of like, not an alarm system, like they send out this scent so that the giraffes won't eat them. Very interesting. I didn't know that. But it was very, very hard to listen to it on audiobook, and I'll say why. It became a bit dull at times. The audio was a bit monotone. Again, the topic was not the most riveting, so maybe that's why it was a bit less ooh. But I did struggle with it. I've been carrying out this book with me since September, so you can imagine how long it's been. But it's been fine. I really liked it. I really recommend it if you really do like nature. You learn a lot, but don't just attempt to read it in like a week. It will take you time. It will take time to get done. But I definitely did like it. I maybe would have not put so much pressure on myself into finishing it. I think that's where I went wrong. But I really did like it. It was a good book. So I gave it 3.5 stars on Goodreads. Well, I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I gave it 3.5 stars just because of the quality of the audiobook and how monotone it could be at times. But it's really interesting if you like trees. I like trees. I found it interesting. If you don't like nature, don't read it though. Just don't bother. And the last book that I've read, you saw me struggle through this book in my last vlog. The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I did not like this book. Somehow, this book had too much smut. It took away from the story. Like the story itself, like the idea, although it didn't make much sense to me, it was good. It was interesting, it was fun. I could have definitely gotten into the idea. But because she covered it with all of this very, very, very graphic smut scenes, I was just like, oh, I just lost the idea. You had something and then you just flung it out the window. I will say, however, 2 things. First of all, the ending's really cute. Like the last 25 pages, it's like so cute. I was squealing like a teenage girl seeing Harry Styles for the first time. That was me. Because it was just adorable. Like, it was really cute. And also I really appreciated the fact that she wrote a character that had autism and that it was a woman. Autism is very much underrepresented in literature, and women and autism is something that it's not very common to read or even see because it goes underdiagnosed a lot of times. I did some research on this and I realized that because under autism, women tend to be more quiet, more shy, and that's just how the correct woman should be. They just don't diagnose it. They just say, oh, she's just a very shy child. So I was really appreciative that she wrote a book that represented such an underrepresented group of people and of women. So just because of that, I have to give Helen Huang, the kudos, because she did something that not many people can do. And I think that's really, really, really admirable. However, I still didn't like it. I read it for my book club, and then we had the book club meeting, and all of my friends really liked it and they all gave it 4 stars, so it could just be me. It could just be me. I gave it 2 stars. Maybe I could give it 3 stars, but realistically, no. This is not, however, the worst book that I've read this year. And now I kind of want to get into the books that I want to read this month, because I want, the way I'm going to structure this is, these are the books I want to read in December. However, they're not my Christmas break books, if that makes sense. I'm going back home the 21st, and I'm going to make a separate video showing the books that I want to bring back home with me. But these are the books that I really want to read until the 21st of December. We will see if I'm successful, but there's 4 of them. Will we be successful? Probably not. I've been really into embroidery lately. Like, that's just what I do in the evenings instead of reading, so we probably will fail, but we will try very hard. Now, the first book that I started already is Cécile est morte, Cécile is dead by Georges Simenon. This is a very fun book. I'm really liking it. It's in French. It is torture for that. But I'm really enjoying it. I'm on page 35 already. I want to finish this book this week because it's just 200 pages and I think I can easily manage that. However, I am going a bit more slowly because I'm making a really big effort of every word that I don't understand. I Google it and I translate it and I search it up and I figure out what it means, because a lot of times when I read in French, I try and find out through the context, which works easily, but if I Google it, I learn more, which we like. So that's what I'm gonna be doing about this one. This one I'm really liking though. It's really fun. It's about this guy who is a policeman. It's a very famous French series from the 20th century. And Maigret, the detective, every day has a woman that comes to visit him and says that somebody's watching her, that they were changing the furniture in their house, and he kind of dismisses her and then she dies. And it's not a spoiler because it says it in the title. So it's about him trying to solve this case, and I'm guessing there'll be some guilt. I definitely think he should feel a bit guilty if somebody comes to you for help and you don't give it to him. So yeah. The next book that I want to read, again on my TBR. This book has been on my TBR since summer. From the Intermediate Dimension by Mercedes Alisax. My grandmother gifted me this book. I really want to read this book, and yet I have not read it yet. I'm very excited to read it. I'm not gonna say what it's about because I keep talking about this book and I just don't read it. But I really want to read this before I go to Spain so I can talk about it with my grandma and maybe discuss it with her. So I really want to finish this book. And I think this is going to be the next book that I read after that one. Again, it's quite long. It's 450 pages more or less. But she's a really good author and the story itself sounds really interesting. So I think this is going to be a good book if I actually read it. Who knows? I don't even know why I bother doing TBR lists. I never follow them. Oh well. The next book that I have is The Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. By her. She's the one that wrote Me Before You, which then got made into a film with Emilia Clarke and Sam Claflin. Never seen the film, never read the book. Heard great things about it. I'm just never interacted with them. And it sounds super cute. And the reason why I want to read this book is because this is not my book. This is my boyfriend's mom's book. And I really have to return it at some point. So that's what I'm going to be reading afterwards. And I don't know what this book is about. Let's see. Okay, I think I know what this is about. This woman marries someone and he's got a very strict, domineering family, and it's how she kind of learns to live with them and how she fights for her liberty. I don't know. It sounds really cute. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds really nice and really cute, and I'm really excited to read it. So this is another one, and these are the 3 books that I'm going to read. I'm going to try to read until the 21st. And lastly, I have A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, which is my book club book. It was my turn to pick up the book, and I decided to go for a book that I've owned since the 4th of October. 4th! You know how embarrassed I am about this? I bought this book and I excused myself for spending $16.99 on this book, beautiful book by the way, by saying, no Mar, I will read this. I'm gonna read this the moment I finish my other book. Have I lied? Yes. Am I ashamed? Yes. Will it happen again? Probably yes. But you know, c'est la vie, mon ami. This book has received a lot of weird critiques. A lot of people were very excited and then were disappointed. However, because this is my first book by her, I think I'm gonna have a different reaction. I think I'm gonna read this, I'm gonna like it, and then I'm gonna read something else by her and I'm just gonna like it more. Which is, I think I got very lucky by mistake for doing that. So I'm very excited for reading this. And also, I'm very sorry to my friends because they're being forced into reading this even though they don't want to, just because I am a compulsive buyer. I'm sorry, friends. And then last book that I have, again, I don't have it because it is an audiobook, and that is The Subtle Art of Giving an F by Mark Mason. Am I liking this book? Yes, it's very interesting. I'm like maybe 7 chapters in, so I'm almost done with it, but I just didn't finish it for October. I'm liking it. It has really good advice. Like, I am taking some things into consideration. Would I recommend it in an audiobook? I'll come back to you on that one. I'm not sure, but I'll come back to you on that one. Anyways, here we have everything that I'm going to be reading in December, everything that I've read in November, and hopefully next month I get to do one of these with my TBR complete. We will see. We will probably fail. We will probably fail, but we will try very, very hard, hopefully. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know down in the comment section if you are reading any of the books that I'm gonna read, if you've read any of the books, or what you're planning on reading. Or I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more bookish content, please follow me on Instagram at Book and Prejudice, where I try to post twice a week more content of what I am currently reading and just more bookish content in general. I will see you guys next week, and until then, I hope you have a lovely time. Goodbye!